It's time for me to finally see if I can deadlift a little bit despite the injury I've got. Won't go too hard. I can't go too hard. I've deadlifted 160 many times, 170 once or twice. Well, let's see what happens, because if it starts to hurt, then I won't go any further and I'll stop at whatever weight I've reached. And this might be a lesson in how to deadlift very carefully so you don't set any recovery back. Right, let's go. When I made a video recently, somebody asked why I deadlift, why I don't do other things that I can progress at if it's a problem with injuries. And it's a very good point. I have taken deadlifting out of my program quite a bit before. That's why it's a little bit behind some other things I do, I think. I progress with it less, at least. What I have been able to do is get it back to deadlifting 120 stably and without that worsening the injury. And then more recently I got to the same stage with 140 kilos, and I hoped to, as the months go by, edge up 5 or 10 at a time without worsening an injury. Went a little bit wrong nearly 2 weeks ago now, about 2 weeks. I actually said in the previous video I did a couple of sets of 3 with no problem. Looking at my record, it was 5. So I did 5 at 140, no pain, not on either side. Another 5, no pain. Then the next 1, 2, both hurt, rested, tried a third, it was painful, I stopped. If that happens today, then this won't be much of a video, but let's see what happens. I'll keep cutting it because people don't want to see something as long as my bench pressing video, I'm quite sure. Get some music on. I didn't expect this to have timed out. And although I'm not making any money on YouTube at the moment, in hope that I one day do, I'm only using my own music, with just 1 or 2 exceptions. This might be cut out by the time I make the video. Used to start with 35 kilos, I don't now. Straight to 70 kilos with the bar and 2 plates. I'm not as careful with this weight, it's counter ready, as I am with heavier weights. So if you're seeing this and I don't have quite a perfect position, then that's why, although I am interested in people telling me where I'm going wrong, I wouldn't try to deadlift a heavy weight like this. I think that's 10. When you've got the lighter weights, I've heard people say this, if you're going to be badly positioned for something, it's a good idea to do it when you've got a lighter weight, because then you are warming up the tissue at some extremes, perhaps leaning forward a bit too far, perhaps round in the back a bit. And that means you might make the tissue warmer and more flexible before you risk a bad positioning on a heavier weight. Anyway, I'll put a bit more on and I'll be back. Just have 90 kilos on now. I put the belt on at 120. I'll be playing the same bit of music a few times because I don't have that much recorded yet. A large part of this channel is supposed to be heavy metal music. And I'll put a few bits in there. I think it's 4 tracks so far. Then I started to work on some of my older stuff, and I'm not fast enough with the guitar at the moment. I play bass all the time. I'm a part-time guitarist, but I'm working on that, and I hope there'll be a lot more music soon. Okay, 10. I tried to really make it 10 this time. 90 kilos is just enough that I start to think a bit about straightening the back up. Principles, basic principles of deadlifting. You could tell me if I'm missing out anything. Feet not too far apart. Some people have them a bit less than shoulders width. This is about right for me. And you want the bar as close to your shins as it can be. Then I bend over without worrying too much. Get my hands in position. And next is chest up, look up, and that puts you in a slightly better position. And then I try to put my behind out a little bit and straighten the back. And I think that's a pretty good position to start from, but you can let me know if that's not the case. And 1, should have been straighter there, 2, 3, 4. And I know for a proper deadlift, you should reset every time. And I do, mostly with the heavier weight. and I lost count again. I think it was 10. Okay. Back in a moment for 120. It's time for a few at 120. Let me check that microphone, it's on. I always used to do a set of 5 fast and a set of 5 slow at 120. The fast one's getting me ready to try to whip it up fast, and the slow ones to get me used to the grind that I'll have when I get to a bit more weight. Sometimes I can do 140 a bit fast, above that it's pretty slow. I'm just going to do 5 now, and I'm going to try to keep them slow and controlled. So now, if you see me in a very bad position, that's when you can say, what are you doing? That's not the way to do it. Right, hands, chest, behind, back. Fairly slow, and that should get me used to having to bear the weight for a little while. That's 3, 4, 5. It looks good so far. No pain. No, feeling good. Back in a few minutes. Ready to try a 140. I mentioned before that I eat garlic when I'm doing the compound lifts, and usually 2 to 2.5 cloves in a session. I saw a new video of Eric Bugenhagen the other day, and he is absolutely sure, very assertive, that that's not enough. I honestly don't believe anything said by somebody who's very strong who has a YouTube channel, but he obviously does a lot right, and I'm convinced for other reasons as well. You can find a lot of information about garlic and the good things it does for the body. Here goes. 1 clove. Bit of chewing. I'm quite willing to believe that when that's in your system and you're pumping it round with the blood from some heavy lifts, it has to do you good. I'll plan to do 3 with full reset. If 1 hurts, I might stop. Depends on how much it hurts. Feet, hands, chest, head, behind and back. A couple of weeks now since I've done 140 or any deadlifting at all. That was okay, but I forgot the mixed grip. This is how inexperienced I am at deadlifting heavy weights. I can do 1, as you see, 140 without a mixed grip, but that's it. That felt okay. Let's try again, maybe just a little faster. Okay. Felt okay. Try again, and if this one's okay, then I'll try 150. Biggest problem is the microphone wire getting in the way. And microphone check again. It's horrible when you film a video and you go to review it, and only then do you realise you did something stupid. Right. Feels pretty good. So I'll be back in a minute for another try. Here we go with a 150 attempt, and I'll graduate the garlic cloves with the weight. Here's 2. I'll give the bloodstream a good cleansing. I went out this weekend, don't often do that. There was a local music festival, very good, and I drank more beer than usual. It's really cheating when you drink water before you chew it. Apologise for the noise. Apart from any benefits it has for your organs, your digestive system, your blood pressure, garlic is very antibacterial. A few years ago I had a really troublesome wisdom tooth, and I bet if at the time I regularly ate cloves of garlic while lifting, the infection level would have set in. This will, from here onwards, be my deadlifting music, I think. So a very old track, an 8-minute long track called Annalise, that was based on the Exorcism of Emily Rose. I liked it, but I liked it a lot, but there was never a good version of it recorded. I don't think I could play it today, so there probably never will be. Anyway, hands, head, chest, behind, back. Full reset this time. It wasn't very bad. The last time I had the injury bad was a couple of weeks ago when I did 140s fast, but I felt it just a little bit on the back, on the left. So I'm going to try one more and see what happens. It might be that 150 has to be the top, and that'll be my PR, and I've lifted more than that. Let's see. Or should I save it for a 160 attempt? I think I'm going to try this again. There, felt it. Felt it at the top and a bit then. I think I'm going to try a 160, but I'm not that confident. Back in a few minutes. Just did a 30-second dead hang, and I had a small can of Coke, bit of extra energy. Full disclosure on all the chemical secrets. The first 150 went up easily, the second one was a little bit tougher. Don't feel any pain at the moment, just that little bit of soreness just when I get about here at the top of the last two lifts. Let's be perfectly honest, there's no point in lying about it. What I'm doing now isn't very sensible. I should just stop or do a drop set of 120s. But I'm trying to get the numbers a little bit higher, and it's not really very sensible, and it just shows you can be old and supposedly a bit more sensible, and you can still do the foolish things. It really stupid would be going for 180. I hope I'm not going to regret this. Although from recent experience, if I have a bit of an injury here, it's not going to set the injury right back. And at one point when it was terrible, I could still squat through it, I could do most things, it just hurt. If I thought I was risking complete reset of the injury, I probably wouldn't be doing it. Okay, let's try. Not too fast, not that I'll be able to do it. I may not be able to do this. I've done 160 a number of times. I've done it a few times at the end of a session. Just try for the one now. I'd have to go back somewhere on my sheets. I only have two here. Yeah, no 160s on here. So it was some time ago, perhaps as long ago as June, that I did the 160. I'll still be surprised if I can't. Okay, that was a bit slow. It was no more painful than the 150. So I think I'm going to go a little bit further. One more session. And again, I hope I don't regret it. This will probably be the last try with a 170. I took a pair of 10s off the end, so now I've got 140 in bumper plates and 30 kilos of iron. I moved this piece of tissue when I moved some weights around, and I forgot the garlic last time. Just having one clove now. It's okay to have more. It's not too bad, I'm saying, to eat more. This will be 4 cloves in one day. Interesting, when I did the lift before, the 160, near the top I get a bit of pain here, and then when I put it down and move back up again without the weight, I get a bit of pain here. I wish I knew what it was. When it happened, it felt like a tight string, like an elastic band. If you ping a part of it, it felt as, I thought something snapped. It was only 135 kilos, and even then I had done a fair bit more than that. And I'd warmed up. That's when I did everything in one day, so I had squatted. I was definitely warm. Just don't know what it is. MRI scan didn't find it. Physiotherapists, I haven't been to the good one for this injury. I went to NHS ones and they've been no use whatsoever. One of them basically said, well, you're mobile, so don't worry about it. And I tried to tell him, yeah, but everything I do hurts. He didn't care. Didn't care on the slightest bit. I think I'm not risking anything very serious by trying this. 170, I've done a 170, but talk about that afterwards if I do it. If I wasn't that sure about the last lift. I know 170 isn't a lot. I have friends who are stronger. I'd like to be a lot stronger. One day. Right, let's see. What's up? Okay. Okay. A bit sore. When I last hurt this injury a couple of weeks ago, as I mentioned, it was from doing 2 sets of 5 at 140 and then 2 after that really hurt. This is a bit sore, but I think it was worse then. So I think I've got through it without damage. I actually saved those bits of garlic because I had hopes with runaway optimism of trying the 180, which I've never done before. That would have been silly. Tenderness, I think I'm okay. Yeah, a bit of soreness here. Yeah, but it's more like fatigue. Anyway, it's enough of that. 170, that goes on my PR sheet. Finally, I've got a deadlift on there. 170 is the most I've done before, but when I did it before, I injured my left shoulder. No such problem this time. So it shows how, even though I can't work on deadlifting often or with the vigour I'd like to, I still can. This is easing off already. I still worked on other muscles, rowing and pull-ups largely, that allowed me to do that without an injury. And that's it, I know where I am now, 170. I'd really like to get to 2 times body weight. So I've got another 20 kilos to put on there. That's it then. I won't know how long this is until I edit it, hopefully not too long. Thanks for watching, my name's Mark. I hope to make a dual longsword review video in the next day or 2. So I'll be back soon. See you next time. Cheers. I've never made an outro to a video before, but I thought it might be a good idea, just so people can see that I am still mobile. There's a little more tenderness than before, but I think I've done less harm now than when I did the pair of sets of 5 at 140.